Search for a homicide suspect continues in Richmond County. And a bill in the South Carolina General Assembly would change the rules for filing to run for office. Also tonight, a move by Georgia lawmakers to make your trip to the gas pump a little less shocking. Your news at 10 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 10 on MeTV.
Good evening. Happy Friday to you. I'm Denise Jefferson. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. John Hart is on assignment. We'll get to those top stories in just a moment, but first, let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Tim Miller. Tim, we started out today with a Viper 6 alert day, but the weather turned beautiful, and I hope some more sunshine is on the way.
Yeah, it is. Thank goodness we need some of that, right? But Denise, not after we've had ourselves some rain today. Look at this. This is a very special weather complex that sort of developed today, and we'll talk more about that later. But this is a 11-hour loop of all the rain that basically came on in, that sort of exploded over us, and boy, then it just rained itself out. And the good news is it's rained itself out, so we're pretty much done with any of the rain. Any showers now off into South Carolina, and it's relatively clowdy outside at the moment. 12-hour rain totals. I don't know if you can see this up near Tingle in Washington, over 2 inches of rain. An inch in Waynesboro. Thompson, almost 2 inches of rain, and notice not nearly as much as you cross the Savannah River. So this was certainly a rain event with some of us getting a lot of rain, some of us just getting a few little showers. Tonight we're at 58 degrees, and we're starting to see some, I want to say clearing skies. We'll call it partly cloudy. I do think we can have a little bit of fog. We see a little bit of southerly breeze. Notice the clouds still hanging around here on the satellite. A little bit of clearing skies near Atlanta. There's cold front. That front will be in late tomorrow morning. Once it moves through, and it will bring a wonderful weekend. So we'll do mid-50s, really 59. I'm going to go really about 55, frankly. We'll call a little partly cloudy to a little fog coming up for tomorrow morning. 78 the high for your Saturday, and Sunday the first day of spring at 72 degrees. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast and our next round of thunderstorms as well coming up in just a little bit. Teresa.
All right, thanks, Tim. Richmond County investigators are searching tonight for the person who killed a man overnight. Tonight we hear from a friend of the victim.
He literally got along with everybody. Everybody loved him.
Always laughing. That's how Savannah Ramirez-Marin describes Alan Newsom, her friend of 15 years. The news of his death was especially hard.
It's all over Facebook and stuff, and so just during the day, kept checking to see, and so it's been hard.
The 25-year-old's body was found in a driveway on Ulm Road early Friday morning. Investigators say Newsom appears to have been shot. Friends of Newsom say he was well liked, and his death is shocking.
Anyone who really met him, they just really enjoy being around him. I feel like he got along with everybody, which is why this is like such a shock to everyone.
He was a friend and a father of 2 girls.
I mean, it looks like those girls adored him.
And someone Marin says she hopes is remembered for the kind person he was.
Just remember him as a good person, always a smile on his face, there for anybody. He had a lot of love in his heart.
If you have any information, contact the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. A suspect in a November murder in Jackson, South Carolina is behind bars in Augusta tonight. Adewin Adutula is being charged with murder, kidnapping, and burglary in the death of Eldolyn Ledford. Ledford was found dead in his basement in Jackson in November. Adutula was arrested Tuesday in Hephzibah. He's awaiting extradition to Aiken County. Augusta City Tree Commission opposes the plan to remove trees from the Augusta Common. The concerns are the trees are damaging sidewalks and their shade is killing the grass in the park. Earlier this month, Augusta commissioners discussed the need for removal, but the Tree Commission saying any problems in the park do not require taking down the trees.
I got to listen to a good many of people in there today, as you did, and I am totally against going in and taking these trees out.
Commissioner Sean Frantum says the proposal is not to remove all of the trees in the common, only the ones near the stage and the ones that are dying. Any other trees removed would be replaced. A popular Augusta park is once again the center of attention. Commissioners getting recommendations on what parks the city could get rid of to save costs. On the list, Pendleton King Park. The reasons: it's expensive to maintain and there's no agreement with the private board that owns the land.
The conversation should certainly surround itself around what kind of partnership the city can enter into with the trust. I certainly don't suggest closing Pendleton King Park or backtracking any of our responsibilities, but making sure that we're working with the folks who own that property and who maintain it. I think that's going to be key.
Also on the closing list is the West Augusta Soccer Park, but commissioners say what's really needed is a new agreement with the private club that leases it. We're closer to learning what Fort Gordon's name could be changed to. It's one of 9 Army installations originally named in commemoration of the Confederacy that will be changed. After thousands of suggestions from the public, the list has been whittled down to 87 names. A final recommendation is due to Congress by October 1st. To see a list of names, go to WJBF.com. Georgia's 29 cents per gallon fuel tax is officially suspended until May 31st. Gas prices have skyrocketed in the weeks since Russia invaded Ukraine. The governor vowed to put money back in the pockets of Georgians, and he says he appreciates the bipartisan support. This would cost the state between $300 to $400 million in revenue. Georgia expects to make that revenue up with the Rainy Day Fund.
Today I signed HB 304 to temporarily halt collection of the state gas tax and ease the burden consumers are feeling at the pump.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster is also trying to push a similar bill, and Georgia's suspension will run through the end of May. A bill going through the South Carolina Senate would require all candidates to pay a filing fee before running. It's one of a series of bills that deals with how the Palmetto State does elections. The original language of the bill included that a candidate would have to pledge they're a committed member of the political party they're running for before filing. The bill's sponsor says that was taken out of this current bill, but could be brought up down the road. If approved, the filing fee would be $100 per candidate.
So whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, whatever the case is, everyone should have to pay the same filing fee. As it currently stands right now, some candidates for certain parties don't have to pay a filing fee. What we see in South Carolina sometimes is people file under a certain party because it gives them an advantage. And I think that that's frustrating for people on the Democratic side and people on the Republican side, that Democrats run in Republican primaries and Republicans run in Democratic primaries.
The state Senate would need to pass the filing bill, sending it to the governor's desk. Firing squad executions have gotten the green light in South Carolina. Officials with the State Department of Corrections say changes have to be made after a bill went into law last May. The law makes the electric chair the state's primary means of execution, while giving the death row inmate the option of choosing a firing squad or lethal injection. The department says it's ready to carry out a firing squad if that method gets chosen. Today, the House passed the Crown Act, which would ban discrimination against black hairstyles. A study conducted by Dove in 2019 revealed black women were more likely to be policed on their hair in the workplace. Congresswomen at today's hearing shared their stories of being forced to change their hairstyles to conform to what society deems professional hairstyles.
Madam Speaker, I rise today in support of the Crown Act because all hair is professional hair. While serving in the Georgia State Senate, a colleague greeted me with what she thought was a compliment. After spending most of the legislative session in braids, I had my natural hair pressed straight. She told me, "Nikema, you should keep your hair that way. It looks better, more professional, more like a state senator." Remarks like this are all too familiar for black women and girls. If I didn't work for the people in Congress, I know that I could be fired simply for wearing my hair in braids.
Chairman Nadler, I rise today on the floor of the House of Representatives, the People's House, to declare that black girls with our braids, locks, afros, all forms of natural hairstyles, and yes, even our smooth alopecia bald heads belong everywhere.
Madam Speaker, St. Louis and I rise today in support of the Crown Act. As a black woman who loves my braids, I know what it's like to feel isolated because of how I wear my hair. This is the last time we say no more to black people being demeaned and discriminated against for the same hairstyles that corporations profit from. No more to black people being made to feel like we have to cut our locks just to get a job. This is the last time we say no more to black people being made to feel like we have to straighten our hair to be deemed professional. No more to black children being suspended from school because their hair doesn't align with their school's dress code. This is actually a thing, and we are American, and we stand up and we say no more for the last time. We are American. Black hair is not to be policed. I commend my colleagues for their work on the Crown Act, and I urge my colleagues to support it.
The measure is heading now to the U.S. Senate.